Please rise to pledge allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to our March Board of Supervisors meeting. Please note that 2 of the 3 supervisors are present here tonight. Do we have any public comment on any of the agenda items listed here tonight before we vote on them? Hearing none. Secretary's report, any issues with last month's minutes?
None for me.
None for me, all right. Treasurer's report.
Fund balances for the month of February. General fund and investments, escrow and liabilities. February balance is $6,475,219.64. Highway aid fund $966,000, or excuse me, $966,769.62. Capital reserve fund $2,830,720.24 for a February balance total of $10,272,709.50.
Perfect, we'll follow that for audit. Monthly bills.
Bills. General fund total $384,978.72. Escrow fund total $962.50. State highway fund $17,260.37. Capital reserve fund $387,888.26 for total bills of $791,089.85. Mr. Chair, I move that we pay the bills.
I will second that. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All right, we're now moving into reports. Lafayette Fire Company, in February, we had 9 calls for service in Lancaster Township. I don't think I see anyone from Lafayette Fire Company. Nope. All right, Lancaster Township Fire Department, February 2025, 32 calls in Lancaster Township, 81 calls year-to-date. Fire.
Yeah, relatively slow one for us, which is good. The supervisor indicated 32 calls for service. Of that, we had no civilian casualties and no reportable fire loss. Important dates coming up for us. March 15th, Fire Department of Mountjoy, Station 75 had asked us to stand by for them, so they reciprocate well with us. Many times they come down and cover us for our banquet, so we're paying them back. March 29th, similarly, Lafayette, who covers the east side of the township, had asked us to stand by with our trucks, so we're going to do so in the evening so they can attend their banquet. Our next company meeting is May 1st, 7 o'clock. Any questions for me?
None for me, other than you had a really good, successful breakfast event, I think, last month.
Yeah, much appreciated. Guys like to see it come, so they appreciate the supervisor's presence. That is happening again the 15th. Breakfast is at 8, coffee's at 8. Breakfast is at 9, so any township officials, including officers, township crew, are welcome to come. So, that being said, we're 2 months into working with new officers. It's going well. I don't hear much from our guys. Everybody seems to be getting along, so appreciate it.
I had a conversation with one of your lieutenants regarding a collaboration for a first annual Christmas tree lighting.
So there was some talk about that.
Which I thought was a great idea, excellent idea, to have later on in December.
I'd say continue the conversation, see where it goes, and I think that's what we're shooting for.
Okay.
So,
Awesome.
And with the community event coming up this summer, no?
yeah, just talked to Devin about using the park May 31st.
10 to 4.
10 to 4.
Awesome.
10 to 2.
10 to 2, sorry.
10 to 2. Yeah, doing a community event, engage the community, get us out there, get them seeing what we do.
Great.
So,
Thank you.
thank you.
Police report, we're going to talk about that in our workshop. Recycling report, February 2025, 15% of our trash was recycled. Safety Committee minutes and sewer reports. Printed copies of all reports are available at the Township office for a nominal fee and can be viewed and printed from the website. We will now move into workshop reports. First up, Planning and Zoning, Mr. Donovan.
Good evening. Kind of our slower time of the year, but we've been keeping pretty busy. As you know, the property reinvestment program applications are open. We'll be accepting those through the end of March. After that, the month of April, we're going to spend kind of triaging and deciding who gets awarded part of the funding. We've had a lot of applications, approximately 35 is what I'm guessing so far. That was last week's number. I think we received a few since then. So it's great to have that many, but it's also means I feel we're probably going to run out of funding to do all of them. But some of them I think are duplicates in that they've received past monies, so we're going to triage that way. But that's going well so far. The Planning Commission, as you know, we had a committee to pick a new person for them. We had a vacancy that was left empty at the end of the year. We have that on the agenda tonight to vote on a new person for there to fill that vacancy. Kind of a fire update, since we had so many in a short period a month or so ago. And actually, the first one goes way back. The Bousman Post Office. I know we've got a lot of questions from the community as well as you folks. The Bousman Post Office, they've gotten their building permit and things are starting to move there. So that was just pretty recent, so it's going to be amping up pretty quick. The Passy Lane fire from last spring. They've gotten their building permit and they're well on their way of making some repairs there and getting that back open. And there's a couple others that are still in the process, the more recent ones of getting permits issued. After tonight's meeting, I'm doing a presentation on zoning to the Lafayette Fire Department, kind of an outreach for the zoning office to kind of help the firefighters, our emergency services kind of understand a little bit more about zoning. Hopeful we're going to work out a date for the Lancaster Township Fire Department in the future as well. And lastly, my predecessor Tom, before leaving, highly recommended that I go through an accreditation program through the state, through PSATs. So happy to tell you that I passed my accreditation in February, and I'm now an official accredited zoning officer.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Well, congratulations, Tom. Township Engineer, Mr. Weber.
Evening. Couple items. We've got a few financial security reduction requests. One for Bousman Place Apartments, the other for Hawthorne Ridge. And we also have two plan reinstatements. These are plans that had been approved, and then unfortunately the applicant was unable to record the plan, meet all the conditions within the 90-day time period and the extension. So as we've done in the past, instruction to the developer was meet all the conditions, get all the plans signed, get all the agreements in place, financial security, get it all together, and then we'll get it on the agenda for a reinstatement. Both of those projects, that being Millersville Apartments and Southern Village Phase 4, both of those have met all the conditions of the supervisor's prior approval. So I'm sure both of those applicants would be grateful for your courteous reinstatement of the plans. So we'll be glad to move those forward. Then there's also an accommodation that we're making for Hawthorne Ridge. Unfortunately, when that project was built, several of the swales that were installed, they didn't put them in exactly the right spot. Actually, they put them somewhat outside of the easement that's provided for them, or slightly out of center. So direction to the developer was move the easements or move the swales. And so over the last couple of years, they've been getting signatures from 30 some odd property owners to be able to move those easements legally. So now they're asking for supervisor approval, which I'm recommending, and then they would record that legal instrument to be able to move the easements. So would ask for your consideration and possible approval of each of those. Then from an MS4 standpoint, we do have the memorandum of understanding with the County Conservation District, and that's to continue their support of looking after erosion controls primarily in Lancaster Township. But it's something that every municipality in Lancaster County is required to do for their MS4. So we're just getting it done and getting that taken care of. So hopefully you'll approve that as well. That's all I have.
Thank you, Ben. Any questions?
None for me.
Public Works, Mr. Groff.
Just a few items to discuss tonight. We had our first tree group presentation this past month. I thought that went very well. We have our next one coming up here in a couple weeks, followed by a third one in April. Should had a pretty good turnout, and I think it was a good conversation. I attended with Ben. The city had their public open house for the eastbound connector, which is the Grofftown Road corridor pedestrian improvement area. That had a pretty good turnout. It was a Thursday evening. A lot of good conversation, and we just the city just set around a few more dates today for our next group discussion. So we're looking forward to that. We had LTAP in to look at two intersections. One intersection, one road corridor, which was the River Road corridor, and then the second lock of Bean Hill Road intersection. We've received information from the engineer, the traffic engineer at LTAP on the second lock Bean Hill Road intersection. We've done some of those things. We're looking at the lighting option there, which was one of their recommendations. All of the other recommendations, signs and stuff, we've already taken place and ordered and or installed already. And the River Road corridor, there was some electronic discrepancies with the zip file that they couldn't open. So we finally got that resolved today. I spoke to the engineer this afternoon, and he'll get us some documentation in the next week or two. So I have something from them on that intersection. And then the final thing, we've been working on the 2025 paving plan, paving project, which we hope to have out the bid here by the end of the week, and hope to have recommendations to you guys in the April board meeting. So, any questions?
None from me. Yeah, none from me. All good on my end. Thank you.
Great.
Next up, Police Chief Getz.
Okay, for February of this year, we had 408 calls for service, 22 crashes, no fatal crashes. The members issued 118 traffic citations, 51 written traffic warnings, had 14 misdemeanor or felony arrests, 4 DUI arrests, and no overdose incidents or fatalities. The police department's moving along as expected. The members are getting assimilated to the community. A lot more of the community is realizing they have a police department. So getting good feedback, but starting to assimilate now in our third month. I gave 2 job offers for 2 part-time receptionists, which were accepted. So the expected hours that the receptionists will be in the front desk area, I'll say, with an open lobby door, will be 8 to 4. Outside of 8 to 4, it will be similar to what we have set up now with instructions on the door. If you have an emergency, obviously dial 911, but there'll be the number provided for the county non-emergency line if you need an officer dispatch to meet you out front. But the doors will be, I'll say, open 8 to 4 when we have a receptionist there that can greet the public. Our electronic e-filing went live this past weekend, actually for traffic citations and non-traffic citations, which just kind of gets us up to snuff with technology, so we won't have to hand deliver and print out multiple copies of a citation, one to the operator of the vehicle or the violator per se, and then one we have to take over to the MDJ's office. Now it will just go electronically, so that's became effective this past weekend, actually. Thank the fire department for letting us use the bays. We had a little bit of additional patrol lighting. I saw a deficiency in the original purchase of the patrol lighting. We didn't really have anything in the back for safety concerns for the members, or in the front grill. We had a little additional stuff done on. The fire department was nice enough to let us use their bay for the company that put them on. Next on, I'll say the hiring list is a civilian aid position. And after that, it will be a school resource officer in agreement with the Lancaster City School District to have a SRO assigned to Wheatland Middle School in conjunction with responsibilities kind of at the 4 elementary schools as well. So we're hoping to have that person in place by the beginning or mid-summer so they can start being effective the 25-26 school year. And we just scheduled 2 officers to become certified child seat installers. So again, something to outreach for the public. If they want to come in here and have a child, don't really know how to put in a child seat, we'll have certified law enforcement members here to be able to help them out. And we'll have scheduled probably times and days where the public can just show up and ask for that. So that's all I have. Any questions?
No. No, I shared with you before the meeting that some of the residents that I've spoken with have acknowledged the visibility of the force. So it's great. Everybody seems happy and
For now.
we're around. Yeah, for now.
No, yeah.
But great job.
I didn't know you had to be certified to put in a child cart. I mean, I don't have any kids, so like
A lot of people can figure it out on their own, but for those that are concerned, there is a proper way to put in a car seat to make sure it's put in safely.
Sorry.
The new
Just- Just asking.
It's a little tricky sometimes.
Thank you.
Yep.
Got any questions?
Plus you gotta put them around all the goldfish bags and the lollipops.
All right, all right.
Empty, uncrustable.
Exactly. Just a few things, the building's coming along. We've set a opening date for a ribbon cutting ceremony, grand opening, walkthrough tour for the public of April 14th. That'll be prior to next month's supervisors meeting. So that should be a fun, exciting day, and then we anticipate being able to start moving the police across the hall and into their building by, I would say, we'll start that process the next morning, but maybe have them up and running by the end of that week. It's gone much quicker than expected, but it'll be nice to get them in their own space. You'd mentioned how visible the police are. That's the number one comment we get when we talk about the new police force. The chief mentioned in his report, we've had 264 traffic citations or warnings in the first couple of months, and I think that has helped us get some of the ongoing speeding complaints that we've gotten, or reckless driving complaints that we've gotten over these last couple of years, but especially over the last year. I think in a little bit more control to those ends. The chief, Devin, and I discussed speed enforcement moving forward. We're going to have some designated speed enforcement zones established. We're looking at probably 8 of those to start the year off, and then what we'll do is, building on the success of those, we'll try to either add those in or move those around over the next couple of years. But we should see some of that line painting activity and those enforcement activities in the month of April. And the last thing is just, we've heard tonight, I think something's worth mentioning, 2 or 3 times now where we've talked about the cooperative efforts that we're making with the fire department. That relationship continues to grow. The new leadership is outstanding. And the enthusiasm for working with the fire department continues to be a priority for all the staff. That's all I have for right now.
I neglected to mention that I had available, and I don't know if it fits in the agenda, I did have available a history, retelling Lancaster Township history, if it fits during the appropriate spot at the end of the agenda.
Good. Awesome. Let's fit it right in. All right, announcements. March 18th, the Planning Commission meeting is canceled. I'm sorry, Tuesday, March 18th, the Planning Commission meeting is canceled. Thursday, March 20th, At 2 p.m. is the Lancaster Township Tree Working Group, right here at 1240 Maple Ave. Tuesday, March 25th at 7 p.m. is the Zoning Hearing Board meeting, right here at 1240 Maple Ave. Thursday, April 3rd, 2025 at 2 p.m. is the Lancaster Township Tree Work Group for 1240, here at 1240 Maple Ave. Monday, April 7th, 2025 at 6:30 p.m. is the Historical Commission meeting, here at 1240 Maple Ave. On Monday, April 14th, 2025 at 6 p.m. is the Board of Supervisors meeting, right here at 1240 Maple Ave. But before that will be the ribbon cutting ceremony for the new Township Police Building, right next door. More details to follow on that. Old business. Take it away, Steve.
Ordinance 2025-01, an ordinance to amend the Code of Ordinances of the Township of Lancaster, repealing Chapter 221, soliciting and canvassing, and adopting a new Chapter 21. Mr. Chair, I move that we approve Ordinance 2025-01. The Board of Supervisors of the Township of Lancaster has determined the Code of the Township of Lancaster, Chapter 221, soliciting and canvassing should be repealed and a new Chapter 221 be adopted.
I will second that motion. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Planning and zoning.
LTPC 304 Bowsman Place Apartments, 196 and 244 Charles Road, financial security reduction. Mr. Chair, I move that we approve a request from Amanda Groff Harbor Engineering on behalf of Community Basics Incorporated for a reduction of the financial security for the Bowsman Place Apartments final land development plan.
I'll second that motion. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 If I don't mind, just so it's read into the minutes that, that this reduction, in his letter on February 10th, 2025, Ben Weber recommended reducing the amount of the required financial security to a remaining total of $114,308.40.
Perfect. You can put that into the record. All right, next up.
LTPC 330, 2460 Honeysuckle Lane subdivision plan time extension. Just an acknowledgement of the receipt of the time extension from Amanda Groff at Harbor Engineering on behalf of Scott and Karen Good until September 16, 2025 for the approval of 2460 Honeysuckle Lane subdivision plan. LTPC 187 Hawthorne Ridge financial security reduction. Mr. Chair, I move to approve a request from Maria Elliott, Barley Snyder on behalf of Lennar for a reduction of financial security for the Hawthorne Ridge final subdivision and land development plan. The request was received by the township on the 23rd of January. In his letter on the 18th of February, Township Engineer Benton Weber recommended reducing the amount of the required financial security to $453,697.28.
I'll second that. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 LTPC 327 Millersville Apartments, reinstatement of plan and extension of time to record the plan. Mr. Chair, I move that we approve a request from Adam Westgate of David Miller Associates Incorporated on behalf of Berger Development to reinstate the approval of the preliminary final lot add-on plan and land development plan for Millersville Apartments and grant an extension of time of 90 days following the issuance of the plan reinstatement to record the final plan.
Second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye. LTPC 187 Hawthorne Ridge swale easement relocation. Mr. Chair, I move that we approve a request from Maria Elliott of Barley Snyder on behalf of Lennar for plan changes on the Hawthorne Ridge final subdivision and land development plan to allow for certain recorded drainage easements to be relocated so that they coincide with the as-built locations of swales A, D, E, F, H, and K.
Second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 LTPC 272, Southern Village Phase 4, reinstatement of plan and extension of time to record plan. Mr. Chair, I move that we approve a request from Bill Swernick of David Miller Associates Incorporated on behalf of Hogan Herr Wolf II to reinstate the approval of the final subdivision and land development plan for the Southern Village Phase 4 and grant an extension of time in 90 days following the issuance of the plan, reinstatement to record the final plan.
Second, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. New business.
Penn Township request for fire police assistance on Saturday, March 15th from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. to provide security, traffic, and crowd control related to preparations for the Penryn Fire Company mud sale at 1441 Penryn Road, Manheim, PA. Mr. Chair, I move to approve a request from Penn Township for fire police assistance for the Penryn Fire Company mud sale on March 15th.
Second, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Appointment of a new member to fill a vacancy on the Lancaster Township Planning Commission for a 4-year term ending on December 31st, 2028. Mr. Chair, I move that we approve the appointment of Justin Holliner, Esquire, to serve on the Lancaster Township Planning Commission for a 4-year term ending December 31st, 2028.
I'll second that. Is Justin here tonight? Hi, Justin. Nice to meet you.
So,
All right, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Congratulations.
Welcome aboard.
thank you very much.
Lancaster County Conservation District Memorandum of Understanding. Mr. Chair, I move that we approve a memorandum of understanding between Lancaster County Conservation District and the Lancaster Township to validate the linkage between the township and the LCCD as required by the Municipal Separate Storm Sewer System MS4 protocol.
Second, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Resolution number 2025-04, resolution establishing a deferred compensation plan for Lancaster Township. Mr. Chair, I move that we approve resolution 2025-04, which establishes a deferred compensation plan for Lancaster Township.
Second, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, guest recognition and participation. If there's anyone in the audience with any general comments, please rise with your name and address. Going once, going twice, hearing none. Ben, floor is yours.
Floor is mine. Sweet music to my ears. So I'd like to tell you tonight about something that isn't there anymore. And it's some place called the Old Factory. And this is a location that's along South Duke Street. If you look at the map of Lancaster Township and you see up there, there's a small green patch. Thank you, Steve, right there. Yeah, that's one of our non-contiguous areas of Lancaster Township. And South Duke Street is a PennDOT road. We have very few residents, although a lot of people are placed there in the cemeteries that are back there. We do care for the Stevens Greenland Cemetery in that area. But just along the river, there was a very, very prominent mill that was called the Old Factory, more commonly. It was first built in 1817, and it was, as most mills at the time were, it was a water mill. It had a dam, it had a head race to draw water through it. There was a wheel that would turn, and then a tail race to take the water back into the Conestoga. And as with nearly all mills and the dams, there was typically a bridge, and we'll get to that as well. But this was known by several different names, and it first started as a textile mill in 1817. There was a lot of Irish immigrants into the area with skills in weaving, and they were deployed here. But there were also a lot of diseases, financial problems all throughout the community. So it was on again, off again, and ultimately in 1860 it was converted over to cork production. It was the first cork factory in in the vicinity. Now, as you can see in this older map of the city of Lancaster, here's the corner, the southeastern corner of the square. If you recall, the borough was formed in 1742 with a 2 mile by 2 mile square, and this was the one corner. It was primarily formed out of Lancaster Township, so this was a remaining section of Lancaster Township, and these are streets that came across, and the mill was located right about here. These streets were not called Duke Street at the time. This was Rockland Street. Duke Street ended in, then was extended and tied into this, and so it carried on the name of Duke Street later. But as you can see, there are small towns called Mussertown and Adamstown, Bethelstown in the area. A lot of those names have just sort of evaporated over the years. But the roads and the foundations that we still have really do tell a story of what used to be there. Now, this is a picture prior to 1870 because the building is still standing. And this picture is taken from a spot in what's today Lancaster County Central Park. This is a spot called Indian Rock, and it's looking down towards the mill and the bridge. And you can sort of see this angle, the two slopes coming together. And if you look up here in this 1830, you can sort of see that spot from which the picture was taken, looking down at the mill. It's really fun, for me anyway, to sort of coalesce all this information, see the views from different perspectives, and sort of build that narrative in your mind. So that's a view from Indian Rock. You can see the bridge as it first was installed. It wasn't covered at the time, but it was wooden. And again, this is pre-1870, so right around the time of the end of the Civil War, I would imagine. Here's the bridge then a little bit later. You can see it was replaced and covered, but the structure of the old mill no longer has a roof. So this picture was taken after the 1870 fire, and those walls stood there for a long, long time. The ruins then were an attractive place. People came and took pictures by it. The Conestoga, if you remember, was dammed in a lot of places, so the water was very still. These were glassy ponds, if you will, a lot of canoeing and swimming that people would enjoy in the area. Ultimately, these ruins were taken down by the city in order to help pave roads, to build roads throughout the rest of the city, interestingly enough. So there remains one marker, which is this little X on a marble monument right here. And I'm just going to imagine that that's one of the corners of the old factory. Who in the world knows what it really is? But it was remarkable to find that, all in the middle of the forest, just this little marble block. Now, the bridge was called the Old Factory Bridge, and commonly, this is South Duke Street crossing over to the Sunnyside Peninsula. It lasted for a long, long time. Even you can see it in this rare colored photo from the 1940s. A lot of postcards, very, very bucolic setting. Then in 1948, it was taken down, the wooden structure was taken down, and you'll see then here, these are bridge abutments for the new concrete bridge that was to be built. And keep your eye on that little house right there, because that's right here at the other end of the bridge. So this is looking in the easterly direction into Lancaster Township. So you can see that house is still there, but the trees obscure everything. It was really sort of neat that somebody in 1948 would draw the alignment of the road as it was going to be from that perspective. And then this is looking in the other direction, looking east out of Lancaster Township across the river towards the Sunnyside Peninsula. And the road, as you can see, goes up that steep hill and bends around to the left, does the same thing today. See, the only remaining vestige of that bridge is there are two bridge abutments, one at either end. So the bridge is gone, but these huge stone abutments are still there. If you tromp around back in there carefully and on private property, don't go getting into the water, but those stone bridge abutments are still there, one on this side and one on the other side. I don't know, maybe the city will come back and get those and, build streets with them, but probably not. Anyway, that's all I had, just this little corner of the township.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thanks, man.
Thank you, Ben.
Work.
All right, with that being said, I now adjourn this meeting.